I will accept atonement for myself. I will accept atonement for myself. Only salvation can be said to cure. Only salvation can be said to cure. My mind holds only what I think with God. My mind holds only what I think with God. I will accept atonement for myself. Only salvation can be said to cure. Well, thank you all so much for joining me today. I'm Willie from the Ozarks, and we're ready for Lesson 150 in A Course in Miracles Workbook for Students. We're reading from the original edition here on Tuesday, May 30th of 2023. It's a review lesson of lessons 139 and 140. 139 being I will accept atonement for myself. And sure, there's another chance to, accept the atonement, the knowledge that you are innocently created and are all the way, and you're the way that you'll always be. Use forgiveness as your guide to get there. And Lesson 140, only salvation can be said to cure, no matter what your illness is. Forgiveness is the answer, and that's what Jesus calls salvation. At least that's how I see it. My mind holds only what I think with God. That's the umbrella thought that he really wants us to get these last 10 days. He's been trying to tell us to say it to ourselves every hour of the waking day. Have you been doing it? My mind holds only what I think with God. Oh, you can miss a lot of them, but do the best you can. Don't make it a ritual, but make it a practice that is that's deserving of your holiness, of your completeness. So today, my mind holds only what I think with God. I will accept atonement or atonement for myself. Only salvation can be said to cure. All right, well, let's go take a look in our text reading. And today we're ready for, we are in text chapter 16, the forgiveness of illusions. And we're in section 4, the reward of teaching. The reward of teaching starts in paragraph 21. So as you're turning there, let me tell you a little bit about, first of all, what's going on around the world. International Hug Your Cat Day, Loomis Day, My Bucket's Got a Hole in It Day, National Creativity Day, National Mint Julep Day, and World MS Day, Multiple Sclerosis Day. And let's see, I had some other things I wanted to talk to you about, so let's just not take much time on that. Let's go look at another type of spinach. It's a little late this year, but you could still plant some spinach. But remember, it's a cool weather plant, and you'd almost want to plant it in a cooler spot, like a place where it'd be shady in the afternoon, maybe get a little morning sun. You'd probably do okay. And this is out of the Baker's Creek heirloom seed, and it's the Giganti di Inverno spinach. And this European heirloom produces large, broad green leaves well into the fall and winter months in many areas. This flavorful variety comes to us from Italy. The English name is Giant of Winter. So the Giant of Winter, or the Giganti di Inverno. So I guess Giganti is large, and di Inverno must be in Italian, winter or something. Giant of Winter. And it's a Spinacia oleracea, true spinach. And I also wanted to tell you a little bit about a woman on the other side, NDEs, Brook Grove. Woman dies, taught about consciousness, and shown her future during NDE, a near-death experience. She was brain dead for, I think, 3.5 or 3 days from a drug complication in the hospital. And the things that I want you to kind of take away from it, and a lot of these near-death experiences will be mixed with a lot of different stuff, and I wouldn't get too caught up on the actual theology behind it all, but come away with it with an inspiration that here's somebody that had something that was given to them. It's for them personally. It's a revelation for them, but it's so outpouring they want to share it with you. So, probably wouldn't base all your theology on it necessarily, and even, foreboding about what's going to happen in the future and stuff like that. I wouldn't get too caught up in all those things, because it appears like those things can be highly variable, and maybe we even create different experiences. We do create different experiences in our lives based on our own mindsets, and the collective of those who have the same mindset may have those experiences with us. But remember, we're all the sole creators or the sole makers, creators of our experiences, and we want to learn to, move more and more into listening to the Holy Spirit. But this is and she merges and bathes in light. And I just thought that was it's really wonderful the way she explained it. It gave me a lot of new connection with something that we had read about back in chapter 1 of our book, Miracle Principle 24. Let me just read it to you. It's in paragraph 27 of chapter 1. Miracles enable man to heal the sick and raise the dead, because he made sickness and death himself and can abolish both. You are a miracle, capable of creating in the likeness of your Creator. Everything else is only your own nightmare and does not exist. Okay, can you keep that in mind? It doesn't exist. It's a nightmare. It's a dream that we're waking from. And the last sentence in that paragraph, only the creations of light are real. And she just does such a wonderful job explaining how she perceived the light and how she was immersed in it, how she felt like she was home in it. And it just gave me a lot of inspiration about this particular passage in our curriculum. Okay, and so let's go take a look at our text. Let's read. The reward of teaching. And I ought to pull my glasses out. I'm right on the verge where I don't need them, but sometimes a little too much shade or a dark day, it's really helpful. And I'd like to have them here just in case I need them. I might even just put them on. Just no sense in me making little mistakes. You have taught well, and this is in the Reward of Teaching, chapter 16, the Forgiveness of Illusion, section 4, the Reward of Teaching. You have taught well, and yet you have not learned how to accept the comfort of your teaching. If you will consider what you have taught and how alien it is to what you thought you knew, you will be compelled to recognize that your teacher came from beyond your thought system and so could look upon it fairly and perceive it was untrue. And who is our teacher? The Holy Spirit. Our teacher, capital T. He comes from beyond our thought system. So we're taking an ego-alien journey and not using the ego as our guide. We're using the Holy Spirit as our guide. If we follow the ego's guidance, we're going to have trouble, aren't we? He must have done so. Let's back up. Let's see. If you will consider what you have taught and how alien it is to what you thought you knew, you will be compelled to recognize that your teacher came from beyond your thought system and so could look upon it fairly and perceive it was untrue. And he must have done so from the basis of a very different thought system and one with nothing in common with yours. For certainly what he has taught and what you have taught through him have nothing in common with what you taught before he came. And the results have been to bring peace where there was pain, and suffering has disappeared to be replaced with joy. That's what our teacher gives us. He removes pain and puts in peace, and where we had suffering, he puts in joy. You have taught freedom, but you have not learned how to be free. We said once, by their fruits you shall know them, and they shall know themselves. For it is certain that you judge yourself according to your teaching. The ego's teaching produces immediate results because its decisions are immediately accepted as yours. Let's stop there just a minute. You've taught freedom, but you have not learned how to be free. We once said, by their fruits you shall know them, and they shall know themselves. You remember we studied that in text chapter 9, section 4, paragraph 30, actually. In there, it says that by following the right guide, you will learn the simplest of all lessons. By their fruits ye shall know them, and they shall know themselves. And you know what? Let's just take a minute and go back there as a little quick review. And let's see if I can just play the song. It was on lesson 83, which included a couple other ideas, which I put them in the song. So let me just play it real quick, and it'll maybe kind of help us. Let me listen to it just a second. I get a little running start with the recording, just with this start of it. By their fruit ye shall know them, and they shall know themselves. Olea butterfly. By their fruit ye shall know them, and they shall know themselves. By following the right guide, you will learn the simplest of all lessons. By their fruit ye shall know them, and they shall know themselves. By their fruit ye shall know them, and they shall know themselves. By following the right guide, you will learn the simplest of all lessons. By their fruit ye shall know them, and they shall know themselves. My only function is the one God gave me. My happiness and my function are one, are one. By their fruit ye shall know them, and they shall know themselves. By following the right guide, you will learn the simplest of all lessons. By their fruit ye shall know them, and they shall know themselves. Okay, you remember that? Well, let's see if we can't continue on. You have taught freedom, but you have not learned how to be free. We once said, by their fruits ye shall know them, and they shall know themselves. For it is certain that you judge yourself according to your teaching. The ego's teaching produces immediate results because its decisions are immediately accepted as your choice. And this acceptance means that you are willing to judge yourselves accordingly. Cause and effect are very clear in the ego's thought system because all your learning has been directed toward establishing the relationship between them. And would you not have faith in what you have so diligently taught yourself to believe? Yet remember how much care you have exerted in choosing its witnesses and avoiding those which spoke for the cause of truth and its effects. Paragraph 23. Oh, butterfly came to visit, huh? Does not the fact that you have not learned what you have taught show you that you do not perceive the sonship as one? And does it not also show you that you do not regard yourself as one? For it is impossible to teach successfully wholly without conviction, and it is equally impossible that conviction be outside of you. So we want conviction in order to be good teachers. You could never have taught freedom unless you did believe in it. And it must be that what you taught came from yourself. And yet this self you clearly do not know and do not recognize it, even though it functions. What functions must be there. And it is only if you deny what it has done that you could possibly deny its presence. Its presence is capitalized. The Holy Spirit, God. Paragraph 24. This is a course in how to know yourself. There's what we are. This is a course in how to know yourself. You have taught what you are, but have not let what you are teach you. Okay, let's look at that. This is a course on how to know yourself. You have taught what you are, but you have not let what you are teach you. You have been very careful to avoid the obvious and not to see the real cause and effect relationship that is perfectly apparent. Yet within you is everything you taught. What can it be that has not learned it? It must be this that is really outside yourself, not by your own projection, but in truth. And it is this that you have taken in that is not you. What you accept into your minds does not really change them. Illusions are but beliefs in what is not there. And the seeming conflict between truth and illusion can only be resolved by separating yourself from the illusion and not from truth. 25. Your teaching has already done this, for the Holy Spirit is part of you. Your teaching has already done this, for the Holy Spirit is part of you. Created by God, He left neither God nor His creation. He is both God and you, as you are God and Him together. For God's answer to the separation added more to you than you tried to take away. He protected both your creations and you together, keeping one with you what you would exclude. And they will take the place of what you took in to replace them. They are quite real as part of the self you do not know. And they communicate to you through the Holy Spirit. And their power and gratitude to you for their creation, they offered gladly to your teaching of yourself, who is their home. You who are hosts to God and also hosts to them, you who are host to God are also host to them. That's a little short sentence that I got wrong the first time I read it. I just can't emphasize enough that when you're reading these sentences, make sure that before you go on to the next sentence, that at least you may not understand the big picture and what he's really trying to say, but try to at least make the sentence itself make sense to you. Don't just pass over it without it making some kind of sense in your mind. That's all the Holy Spirit needs to work with. So that's why I'll stop a lot and reread a sentence. And now I've kind of lost where I was at saying all that. Your teaching, let's start in paragraph 25. Your teaching has already done this. Back the sentence, last sentence 24. The seeming conflict between illusions can only be resolved by separating yourself from the illusion and not from truth. Paragraph 25. Your teaching has already done this, for the Holy Spirit is part of you. Created by God, He left neither God nor His creation. He is both God and you. There's where we stopped. He is both God and you, as you are God and Him together. For God's answer to the separation added more to you than you tried to take away. He protected both your creations and you together, keeping one with you what you would exclude. And they will take the place of what you took in to replace them. They are quite real as part of the self you do not know. And they communicate to you through the Holy Spirit. And their power and gratitude to you for their creation, they offer gladly to your teaching of yourself, who is their home. You who are hosts to God are also hosts to them. Now that was the actual sentence that we stopped at. You who are hosts to God are also hosts to them, your creations. For nothing real has ever left the mind of its creator, even though you're not aware of it. You have creations. The Holy Spirit's preserved them for you. For nothing real has ever left the mind of its creator. And what is not real was never there. 26. You are not two selves in conflict. What is beyond God? If you who hold him and whom he holds are the universe, all else must be outside where nothing is. You've taught this, and from far off in the universe, you have taught this. And far off in the universe, yet not beyond yourself, the witnesses to your teaching have gathered to help you learn. Their gratitude has joined with yours and God's to strengthen your faith in what you taught. For what you taught is true. Alone you stand outside your teaching and apart from it, but with them you must learn that you but taught yourself and learned from the conviction you shared with them. 27. This year you will begin to learn and make learning commensurate with teaching. You have chosen this by your own willingness to teach. Though you seem to suffer for it, the joy of teaching will yet be yours. For the joy of teaching is in the learner, who offers it to the teacher in gratitude and shares it with him. As you learn, your gratitude to yourself, who teaches you what he is, will grow and help you honor him. And you will learn his power and strength and purity, and love him as his Father does. His kingdom has no limits and no end, and there is nothing in him that is not perfect and eternal. All this is you, and nothing outside of this is you. 28. To your most holy self, all praise is due for what you are and for what he is who created you as you are. Sooner or later must everyone bridge the gap which he imagines exists between his selves. Each one builds this bridge which carries him across the gap as soon as he is willing to expend some little effort on behalf of bridging it. His little efforts are powerfully supplemented by the strength of heaven and by the united will of all who make heaven what it is, being joined within it. And so the one who would cross over is literally transported there. In the last paragraph, 29, your bridge is builded stronger than you think, and your foot is planted firmly on it. Boy, that's nice to know. What he's trying to get us to see is we're not really two selves, even though we appear to be in the dream. In the reality of it, only the illusion is an illusion, and it'll always be an illusion. Your bridge is builded stronger than you think, and your foot is planted firmly on it. Have no fear that the attraction of those who stand on the other side and wait for you will not draw you safely across. Have no fear that the attraction of those who stand on the other side and wait for you will not draw you safely across. For you will come where you would be and where yourself awaits you. Isn't that beautiful? And I love that he's talking about it. Have no fear that the attraction of those who stand on the other side and wait for you will not draw you safely across. For you will come where you would be and where yourself awaits you. You know, we just finished Memorial Day yesterday, and we're probably still thinking about those people that we love so much. And isn't it a heartening thought to think that they're actually pulling us to them, the great cloud of witnesses? Anyway, okay, well, let's listen to our song once again for the day. Let me hear a little. I will accept atonement for myself. I will accept atonement for myself. I will accept atonement for myself. Only salvation can be said to cure. Only salvation can be said to cure. My mind holds only what I think with God. My mind holds only what I think with God. I will accept atonement for myself. 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 Only salvation can be said to cure. Only salvation can be said to cure. My mind holds only what I think with God. My mind holds only what I think with God. I will accept atonement for myself. Only salvation can be said to cure. Thank you all so much for joining me today to study this book that's so inspiring to me that I feel like I just want to share it. And I hope that you feel the same way. And let your teaching, your sharing, teach you. And it'll certainly do so when you've shared it and your own sharing comes back to you in the conviction that you gave it. It's coming back. And then on top of all that, your students that you shared say, hey, thanks for sharing that. It really made a difference in my life. All right? I will accept atonement for myself. Only salvation can be said to cure. My mind holds only what I think with God. Today will be the last review of that. We'll take it with us from here on out, though. My mind holds only what I think with God. I will accept atonement or atonement for myself. Only salvation can be said to cure.